Okay, page 35 asks you to exploring the causes of divorce change over time. So we will use the two different data sets. Earlier we have run the GSS 2006. Now I want to pull different data. So let me pull this output table down just for a second so I can better view on the screen. So okay, the GSS data, now you also you can open the 1972 data. Every time when you run the SPSS analysis, you may have a multiple data set pulled out and output data and all that. You want to make sure when you run the analysis, your screen is on the right data set. So for example, I'm going to show you here. I have two data set here. One is 2006. Look at the bar on the top of the Excel, top of the spreadsheets. I have 2006. I have a 1972. When my cursor, my mouse, click on the 2006, then whatever I run the analysis, it will be based on the 2006. When I click the 1972, then whatever analysis I'm running will be based on 1972. So okay, so that's give it a test. Well, let's do a test. So say now I'm click on the 2006. I do analyze descriptive frequency. I click H, and then okay. So when I look at my output table here, see on the top, okay, since the cross tabulation is the analysis I ran previously, I'm gonna close it so we don't confuse. This is the frequency analysis I just ran. Okay, I run a frequency analysis for H. And look at the data set that I put out. The data set file is come from GSS 1972. Okay, but if I move my cursor and then click the 2006, then let's do it again. I will run a class. I move the H back. Then now, the frequency should be based on the 2006. So to make sure that we are in the right data sets, so you want to either close out the data set you no longer use, or you want to pull that down. Okay, so now I'm on the 1972 data. So I'm going to run the analysis for page 35. Okay, on page 35, question number 1, the percentage of respondents who were divorced in 1972 was how many percent? And then they also want to see, what about that for 2006? So to do so, you need to run the analysis for from both data. So let's run for 1972 first. The frequency distribution we need to run is for divorce. So you go to analyze, you go to descriptive statistics, you go to frequency, and then you choose divorce. And then click OK. So okay. Well, that's a close out whatever the frequency we run earlier. Okay, this is the data I use GSS 1972. And then on the percentage, we know that in 1972, how many percent of respondents are divorced? The answer is what?
Is it 14.2?
Yes. So we should always use a valid percent when we present our answer. Because for the column of a percentage here, that's also taking into account the missing value. But when you present your data, mostly we don't want to include those missing value. So if you were asked how many percentage of people in 1972 who were divorced, then that should be 14.2%. And then 85.8% say no on divorce. Okay, next, we want to use 2006 data to run the same analysis. So I pulled down the 1972 spreadsheets and I pulled out the 2006 spreadsheets. I run the same analysis. I go to descriptive, I go to frequency, and then I choose divorce. Click OK. Here is another output based on 2006 data. In year 2006, the percentage of being divorced increased. Yeah, it's a 24.9% of people who were divorced who say yes on divorce, and only 75% say no. So you can see the trends from 1972 to 2006 based on the national GSS data, and it shows that there is an increase. Okay, question number 2. Were more religious people less likely to divorce in 1972? To find out, based on page 35, the variable they use is a 10 on divorce. Actually, we ran this correlation last time using 2006 data, but this time instead we want to use 1972 to see how the epsilon look like. So we go back to the 1972 data. So I pull down. Yeah, you always want to make sure you're on the right data sets. So this is 2006. No, this is not what I'm looking for. So I need to pull out the 1972 data. Then I go to analyze. And this time, because I want to see the correlation between the two, so the analysis I need to use is crosstab. So I go to analyze descriptive statistics. I go to cross tabulation. And then the dependent variable is divorce. I put it in a row. Independent variable is a 10. I put it in the column. Cell will be based on the independent variable. So independent variable is in the column. So I select column. Yeah, after you select the independent and dependent variable, okay, our dependent variable is divorce. So I put it in the row. You can put it in the column. It doesn't matter. But what's matter is how you generate your percentage. So my case is I put divorce in the row and I put a 10 in the column. Next, I go to cells and then I need to generate a percentage. So because my independent variable is in the column, so I choose column. Okay, does that make sense? And then I click continue. Click OK. So now let's take a look at the output table. So this output table shows us that divorce dependent variable is on the side. Okay, it's as a row. And then I'm going to compare all the category across the first row. Yes, who say yes on divorce. So I'm comparing those people, how often they attend the church activity, their percentage for those people who divorce. So for this row, the lowest value is 11.1 and the highest value is 19.3. So the epsilon for 1972 attend on divorce will be equals to 19.3 minus 11.1. So that should be 8.2%. So on page 35, question number 2, you should list all those percentage for never, rarely, monthly, weekly. So who are divorced, who say yes on divorce and never go to church is 19.3%, right? And then 16.8% rarely, 13.7% monthly, and 11.1% weekly. And then epsilon will be here, 8.2%. So, okay, question number 3. If you compare these results,